They are who we thought they were, but we ain't letting them off the hook. Welcome to Braves Talk, everybody. It is another Friday night, another Braves Talk as the Braves march toward the arch. This is the Iceman, Matt Freites, and across from me, as always, the beautiful pals, Brad, the OG, Rick, the star of the show. How's it going, fellas?
Iceman, doing well.
I was like,
Forgive
anytime
us
now.
if it's a little laggy momentarily. We're kind of gonna do a little reboot. We're getting back at it. Yeah, it's hopefully we're catching up here. We'll have to do some fundraising for a new laptop in the name of Braves Talk, apparently. But anyhow, happy to be here. Happy to be talking Bradley basketball. Obviously, the ups and downs, but we've talked about this a million times. This team is who we thought they were, like you said. But we got our sights set on Saturday, and the Redbirds coming to town. We have a slightly potentially under the weather OG. His status for tomorrow night may be questionable. We'll see.
Ooh.
Dad, how you feeling?
Well, we're gonna see if we can make it through this. It's not too bad yet. I just feel it, something coming on.
This is the same guy that called us out in the
Maybe
chat
it's a
earlier in the
Bradley
week,
win.
right?
Oh yeah. He was just chomping at the
Hey,
bit.
but I am
He's here.
I am here.
He is here. And that it should be
The man
commended
plays
that you are
hurt.
here. He does play hurt, as do we sometimes. We've definitely been sick before. So Joey asked for this.
I did
Rick-
think about it.
Rick asked for this, and we're here. Brad and I got our lazy asses out of, doing that whole job, kids thing, and we are here. We're ready to go. So it's been kind of an up and down time since the last time we spoke here, which I feel like is pretty much a theme for the entire year. Every time we come here, there's a big win followed by something else that's not so great. But I think we want to focus on the positives here. Rick does want to take the team to task at some point. He and Brad are going to argue about it. But Brad, why don't you kind of regale us with the roller coaster ride that has been Bradley basketball since February 2nd, which is when we last had our episode.
Yeah, I mean, really same story as last episode coming out of the gates. Big home win in overtime over Belmont. But worth mentioning that was on the back of 17 made three-pointers. We go down the road to Carbondale, win against SIU. SIU goes 0 of 15 from 3, which obviously plays a factor in the
That's
outcome.
incredible, by the way.
And then, of course, yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And then, of course, the most recent result from Wednesday, the ugly loss at Valpo. And I mean, I was listening to the pregame show because I was on my way home, and they talked about how great the week of practice was, and Dave Snell's talking about it's the best practice he's seen from his team all year. And Wardle comes on the pregame show and says, "Yeah, but your game plan's your game plan or whatever until you get hit in the mouth, and then we'll see what happens." Well, Valpo hit Bradley in the mouth, and I won't say Bradley didn't respond. It took him a little too long to respond in some way, and they just didn't have enough to get over the hump and stay there at that point. We can point our fingers at a million things, but I think that when it comes down to it, not to jump too far ahead, but this team's lack of I don't know if you want to say top end talent or even depth in the front court has become increasingly a problem as the years gone on. And I know there have been a few. There's been discussions of misses in recruiting that maybe occurred, or some. We went all in on a few guys that didn't pan out. And I'm not saying that we're not. We don't love having the Metas of the world and the Cailloux of the world, but I think there was some bigger fish out there to be had, and it just didn't pan out for us. And we are who we are. And the book's out there on us now that if you can run our guards off the 3-point line, you got a good chance to win against this ball club. And I don't know that there's any more detail needed, but I'm sure that the OG has some more well thought out, passionate takes on the Braves' recent activity.
I have no doubt.
I don't know if we want to get into it just yet.
Oh, what the fuck? Don't just tiptoe around this shit. Get into it now. This Braves talk. We don't fuck around around here.
I will. And I'm going to start with Meta. And everybody knows, I'm probably one of the highest members of the fan club for Meta. However, I am realistic.
Highest Patreon tier.
That man has no hands. His arms are chopsticks. He cannot get a rebound to save his soul. He can't hold on to jack anything. He's got virtually no awareness of his surroundings. When he does get the ball, he gets picked from behind at least twice the other night, if not 3 times. He's got to keep it up. Keep that ball up. Go up and grab that dang on thing and hang on to it. And the same can be said for Corey Thomas. Between the two, we had 3 rebounds between them 2, and wasn't Corey Thomas, when he came in last year, one of the nation's leading rebounders coming out of the JUCO ranks, pushing double-digit rebounds a game? He's like 5 points and less than 5 rebounds, or right around 5 rebounds a game, that's it from him. I think it's even less. I think it's more around 3.5. And I just looked it up. I just can't remember because of my old age. But I don't know. I just, I'm not mad. I'm frustrated by guys that just aren't.
Just
Okay,
keep talking.
there's just some guys that double, 10 and 11, I believe it was. 10 points, 11 boards. He's been coming around a little bit here lately, but we need some other dudes to step up. And I know I made mention in our message board that we've been chatting on X, but and I brought up we need scorers and not shooters. A lot of other teams have scorers, and well, what's the difference? Well, the difference is to be a scorer, you can move yourself in position with or without the ball, get the ball and score from virtually anywhere on the line, or on the court. Mitchell Anderson was a scorer. Boise Winters was a scorer. Hersey Hawkins was a scorer. Them guys just didn't stand out there and chuck up shots left and right, you know. But when they did shoot, they were hitting them. We've been playing teams that drive the ball, get in the middle. We got a hand in their face, and they're dropping in 10-footers. We don't have anybody that can do that. Nobody. And I'm sorry. I love Birch, but he has digressed so much. He's digressed, I think, more than Corey Thomas has.
Regressed?
Digressed, regressed. He's gone backwards.
He gressed in
I'm
some way. It's
sorry.
fine.
We need more than that. We expected more than that out of him coming in this season. We haven't gotten it. And I don't remember who it was said, "What, do you blame him?" Because I said, there's no effort. Yeah, I blame him, because if he put some effort, he'd get more PT.
Yeah.
I don't know what the problem is exactly. If it's something within his head or what, but he is better than that. Better than what he has shown this year.
Well, and I want to say this, and this might not be a popular opinion, but we talked about this last time, and I want to double down on this. And I'm not saying I don't have, as fans, it's easy to sit back and have concerns and to armchair quarterback these things after they happen. But the fact that, like, this team has so many new parts, whether it's the coaching staff, the roster, um, and we talked about some of the, maybe recruiting um, things that didn't pan out. And the fact that this team is knocking on the door of 20 wins, is sitting tied for second place right now. All credit in the world goes to Brian Wardle for that. Like, if you can't look at this and realize that this team is where they are because of the caliber of coach that Brian Wardle is, then you just don't want to see it. Like, it's just a personal vendetta, and you don't want to see it because I mean, I look at a lot of these other teams that have turned over rosters and turned over coaching staffs, and I mean, granted, yes, like, this is not apples to apples, but look at Drake, right? Right now, a new head coach, sure, but, like, I mean, they turn almost everything over. Now they are in the bottom half almost overnight. Okay, and you have a guy who has kept Bradley in the top 3 to 4 in the league consistently for the better part of the last decade. Um, as players have come and gone, as great players have come and gone, and new faces, and just through the change in the climate that exists out there with NIL. And I get it, like, the guy can be abrasive, like, he admits that. I don't doubt that he's probably hard to play for. I'm sure he's very demanding. I think that he probably, to some degree, limits himself in recruiting because of maybe his personality a little bit. But you know what? Like, that's what he's decided is his philosophy, and he's going to roll with that. And you can't really argue with the results because it's worked out. And I think far too many of us forget where we were, 15 years ago and, you know, 12, 15 years ago in that range. And what a luxury to be so pissed about being in a second place tie and honestly playing as poorly as we've played at times, playing as inconsistently as we've played, and to still be sitting in the position that we are in. What a luxury.
Brad,
We are fortunate to be sitting where we are.
hold on a second. Are we not going to recognize that you just Dabo Swinney right there? Like that was your fire me. Like that was your Dabo Swinney. Like, go ahead, fire me. Like that's what you sounded like. And I will say this, Brad. I think you're right. I think that the coaching job that has happened, I think, is something that should be recognized for the most part. I think you could always nitpick on things that happen. I mean, Lord knows P Town Kev is just going to nitpick everything that happens because that's what fandom does, right? But I think also, Brad, for this to be like one of his better coaching jobs and like highlighting that also showcases just how inconsistent the players have been in totality throughout the season. Because if this is what it takes to get it out of this team, right? Like, what does that say about the collection of players? And should they be better because of the coaching that they're getting? Abrasive or not, I go back and forth on the NIL stuff. I go back and forth on whether we should feel bad for players who either are in a tough situation, don't get enough playing time, because the landscape has changed so much. You're getting paid. The transfer portal is open to you. Like everything is open to you now if you're a player. And so there's very few instances where I'm like, oh, I really feel bad. Like the Mick Cronin situation the other night, that's abrasive, right? That's an abrasive guy to play for. I don't see that kind and that level here. So I don't know how I feel about players who like don't feel bought in because the situation isn't ideal. And I'm not saying that's what it is per se, but do you understand what I mean here? Is like I don't know if I'm gonna accept well, I feel bad for him. And again, not knowing everything. That's just me. And I'm usually pro player in this instance.
I don't feel bad for the players. I mean, if anything, I think that the NIL world makes it easier and maybe more or it should at least in theory makes it easier to coach players harder because it's like, hey, we're paying you X amount of dollars
The transfer
to
portal kind of
perform.
negates
So
that a
do
little
it.
bit to a
Oh,
degree.
absolutely, because that's just the deal, is it's like, I'll take my ball and go home, right? And that's especially at a mid-major.
But that doesn't always
That's
work out
that's
because
how that works,
the
and that's
Connor
where I think
Hickmans of
it's
the
tough
world
because you
will
gotta
tell you.
walk that fine line.
Yes, but the Connor Hickmans of the world will tell you that it's not always greener on the other side. And so in this particular case, this is still a team that has such high potential. That's what's so frustrating every time we come here, and they can't seem to grasp it. And it's frustrating when, again, a lesser coach would have a lesser performance and a lesser record, in my opinion. I know what Rick said, that we're fortunate to be there, but again, it could be a lot worse.
No, and I think you're absolutely correct. I think that is the case, and that's why I'm saying, like, we unfortunately, I think, we had the luxury of being critical, while sitting, on top of the mountain, to say to some degree, to sit here and, like, nitpick little things, and, like, don't get I mean, like, in the substitution pattern thing, I get it. It's frustrating at times, and me and my dad were talking about it the other day. These guys, they're not gonna play 40 minutes. You can't leave a guy in the entire game, and I get that that happens, there's been cases, Duke Dean would play 38, 39 minutes, on occasion, that sort of thing, but if a guy's been in the game for 4, 5, 6 minutes, he's gonna hit a wall at some point, he's gonna run out of gas, and I I th I think that, if you yes, you need to be able to adapt your game plan as the game goes, but I think a lot of times coaches come into these games with a game plan of like, "Hey, we're gonna make a substitution at this point. Our goal is to get this person, let's get this person off the floor, maybe 30 to 45 seconds before the officials timeout so they can get a long rest, come back in after the officials timeout, that sort of thing to get them a longer blow." Where they're gonna get a longer rest but miss fewer game minutes, that seems like common sense to me. And I don't know crap about, like, basketball strategy at all, but we, I guess, host a basketball podcast. But,
It's the Bradley
anyways,
podcast.
that's the stuff that I'm just like, you just can't it's like if you have a great running back, you can't just hand him the ball every play just because he's playing well. That's just not how this works, like, and I don't know, like, I guess maybe as a coach, I'm just too willing to defer to the fact that the coach knows more than we do. He has all of the knowledge available to him, way more than we do about the situations. He's, again, like I'm just willing to defer to the coach and assume that he cares way more about winning than we do. I promise you all that. I mean, he has a vested interest in winning, beyond just like his competitiveness or whatever else. And I don't think he's going to be intentionally doing anything that's going to deter us from winning based off the information that he has. That's a great point, and we can maybe segue away from this rant, if you will. Yes, the book on Johnson is out, which is make him drive, but don't give him a layup. And I mean, that's what frustrates me about him is I feel like he drives and throws something up hoping to draw a foul. He's not driving to score. And that's the difference because he's not getting the calls that he was getting earlier in the season. And so, what's that?
He's driving too deep. If he's going to put a shot up, he needs to get it up before he gets to the guy that's standing there waiting for him to get there. And he's going to kick it out. He doesn't kick it out very much. And then when he gets down there low, he tries to kick it out, and throws it away to somebody, or it gets knocked out of his hands.
Yeah, and honestly, like, we might have to do this sometime, Dad. We might have to go, like, out into the field. Let's get a video camera so I wanna see you can demonstrate some of these things, some of these tactics and techniques. We can share them with the masses, and,
Yeah.
just so, we can you know you can put your money where your mouth is,
Now,
Yeah.
Rick,
right?
Yeah.
I know we
I'd
give
be
you a
one
lot of
to have the
shit.
MTs
Well,
on standby.
everybody has been getting the ball taken away from them down low in the paint. Everybody.
Very true. So we've had a lot of comment. By the way, I just want to go back to the other comment here. We're not going to comment on Saucy Wasp. Like, that's just absolutely terrific, especially with that avatar. So, like, I want to give a shout out to a great little username. But we also had another comment here about Alex, and I think this is absolutely correct. That, like, we can criticize the players that maybe haven't played to the level that we want, and obviously at some point in time, every player on this team has let us down in some way. But there have been some bright spots, and I do think that at times Alex has been one of those.
Yeah, absolutely he has, and, what did he make? What, 7 threes against Belmont? Is that what it was? And, I mean, he's pretty much not making 7, but he's kept up.
7 or 9, or was that
I don't
goalie there? 9.
What's that? No, because I thought 7 was there. Was it whatever it was? Because he tied the record. He tied Duke's record, didn't he? Is it 7 or not? I
I
don't
thought it
know.
was 9.
Doesn't either way. Um, Guys shoot lights out, and, I mean, he was about all we had going there for a while at Valpo the other night, and so,
But he's
um
still up and down.
sure, but I mean, but you'll take it. I mean,
But
the problem is he's not getting any help.
no.
And, I mean, and really our guards aren't getting any help, which is one of the biggest
Yeah.
issues.
I want to go back and address Joey's comment about
Why not? Let's do it.
about if Chase isn't playing, go with Kai over Meta. And I'm telling you, whether Chase is in there or not. I mean, I'm going with Kai right now. Kai's playing a lot better than Meta has of late, and he's got some hands. And biggest knock on Kai for me is he's stronger than he appears, and when he does his little turnaround and tries to kiss it off the glass, it's too hard, and it's going either all the way around the rim or on the other side coming out. He's not kissing it off the glass. Yeah, we'll go out in the field and I'll show him
Yeah.
how to do that
We'll
too.
write this down, we'll put it on the script for
But
the playground.
Kai is more athletic, much more athletic than Meta. I mean, Meta's a big boy, takes up a lot of space. Got to appreciate that, but he's very unproductive when it comes to points and rebounds right now, and that's what we need, points and rebounds
I feel like he
inside.
gets flustered. Like, I feel like he gets, he like, I don't know if it's like his brain is processing and trying to do things
It
faster than his body
No, that's not, because what did I tell you the other day? I says, when he gets the ball, he needs to stop dicking around trying to back himself in closer to either get her blocked or missed or stolen, and just get it, make a move to the basket, go up with it solid and hard. If he doesn't make it, fine. More than likely, he will get fouled in them cases, but he's got to do it quickly. He can't mess around.
He's a tall guy, he's got long arms. Think about how long it takes for those
He's
brain
slow.
signals to get to the end of those arms.
I like to put a stopwatch between Kai and Meta and see who goes to the rim quicker.
Put all 3 of you in a foot race.
So
Kai Kai goes a lot faster to the rim than does Meta.
Should I take Meta off the OG's basketball camp advertisement and put Kai on there? Like, is that a thing I should be doing now?
Maybe.
Yeah,
Oh my
Kai's
gosh.
going to be a good play. He's probably going to be, well, if he keeps progressing, if he does stay and comes back, all that good stuff, he's got an upside that could be our best big guy in years. I mean, even uh, exceed Koch Bar.
I-
I
Is
mean,
is it
that's just what
fair?
I see. I mean, with the upside, it doesn't mean it's going to pan
Yeah.
out.
Is it fair though that like maybe we all wanted Meta's ceiling to be higher than it actually is, and we've actually seen the ceiling, and unfortunately, and it's not a personal indictment on him as an individual, but on the basketball court, like he's maxed out at what he can do, and unfortunately for all of us, that just isn't what we hoped for. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair, and and I've said this to many people, and I mean this in the most endearing way possible, but, like, at this level, it's sort of the island of misfit toys to some degree, like, everyone's gonna have a deficiency. If Meta had great hands and great instincts at his size, he wouldn't be a Bradley, plain and simple, and so you know, I mean, it's you got to take the good with the bad. The guy's going to have some real bright spots. He's going to have some things that frustrate the hell out of us. And you know what? As fans of a mid-major basketball program, we've accepted um, that we're going to ride that roller coaster. And it doesn't make me like him any less as a fan. I get frustrated as hell, but at the end of the day, like he's a Bradley Brave, and that's all that matters.
Okay, on the level of basketball, would you put Drake equal to Bradley or above Bradley as far as the level of basketball played
I
This
mean,
season?
I'd consider them on par in the landscape of college basketball, like, as a whole.
with
Sure.
mid majors, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fair.
Carr from Drake.
Never heard of him.
You haven't heard of
I'm
oh,
just kidding, I'm kidding. Go ahead. Proceed.
he had Meta for lunch when we were over there playing him.
He must have been hungry then.
And he's a big boy. So I mean, yeah, I mean Meta wouldn't be here, if he had better hands. Who knows? He may have. We were one of the first ones on him. Had he have stayed, we don't know. The rumor has that there was some power teams that offered him some pretty decent money to go play, but he decided to stay here. Probably should have went.
Brad, I want to
Got a
revisit a
case of
point.
reality.
I want to revisit your point about the Island of Misfit Toys thing, but also kind of tie it into something that we had here in the notes from earlier that's still relevant here about Brian Wardle kind of hitting and missing, or swinging and missing on some guys in recruiting. And Rick, you can answer this first if you want, but when you think about recruiting in today's world, for Bradley specifically, mid majors, knowing all of the complexities of the landscape now, what is a successful recruiting year from your perspective? Like, are you expecting Wardle to get every guy that he goes after,
Oh
or
no.
is it, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm asking. Cause like when you say swings and misses and you look at this team, like how much of that is fair to put on recruiting when recruiting is just so different now? And Wardle, to your point, Brad, his temperament, his personality is really looking for a specific kind of player, and that player is going to want to play for this kind of a coach.
Wardle does a very good job, I believe. I mean, he's had some misses, yes. I think I think there was a discussion a couple of weeks ago. He has had worse luck D1 to D1, D1 players transferring into us. The rate of actually panning out well is low. We do better at the JUCO level, bringing in good sound talent. And I'm going to tell you, Wardle, I think he's done a very good job. But with all things considered, recruits are coming in here for the program and the coaching. They're not coming in here for the location. I'll promise you that.
That's like 90% of the schools, though, isn't it?
Not really. I mean,
At the mid-major level,
Well, I
probably. I
just mean
mean,
like
there
a
may
lot of
be a
schools aren't
few
in the
exceptions
best
out there.
location. So, like, I mean, Notre Dame is not in the best location, and they're getting the best players. So that like, I get what you mean. I'm just asking, like, I mean, the location, how much of that?
I'll tell you what. If you threw an opportunity out to me, if say I'm a stud athlete, basketball player, whatever, even if it's Holy Cross, okay,
Hey, be careful now.
now I'll go to South Bend before I'd go to Peoria.
Why?
Peoria has dwindled that much in my opinion. I raised up. I come through here through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
Skip
There's
the
not a
80s,
lot
Rick.
around here. Well,
It's a wild time.
It was.
Can't
You
remember.
forgot. Yeah.
I mean, we used to have Caterpillar, Keystone, um, and what is now Komatsu used to be Heister. We used to have all that, and then the hospitals. Now, our biggest industry is 2 big hospitals. That's basically it. I mean, even Bloomington has lost some, like, we're talking the social economical side
Sure. I know what you mean.
of of things. So, but I mean,
There's
yeah,
not the opportunity there was in Peoria that maybe existed in the 60s, 70s,
yeah, and
80s. Like, I
that's
mean,
part of the reason. I mean,
that's fair.
even attendance is hurt because of it.
I think that's fair.
You
I
know,
think that is a fair point to bring up, as far as attendance is
'cause
concerned.
you just don't have the people, and the people that are still here maybe aren't necessarily as involved in athletics, Bradley athletics. I mean, there's still a good chunk of people out there. Yeah. And I don't want to be the negative dude, 'cause I love Peoria, but I can tell you there's a lot of other places I'd kind of rather
Okay,
live.
but and that's just it, right? It's like we can sit here and dog on all day long, but like Peoria's home, right? At the end of the day, it's home, and like you gotta, it's one of those. I guess it's like we all have that friend, right? That's like the asshole, and we all know he's the asshole. But like when someone outside the friend group starts talking about how they're an asshole, it's like, hey, wait a minute. He might be an asshole, but he's our asshole, and Peoria might be what Peoria is, but it's ours. And I get it. And like more so, like you said, locate they're not here for the location. And yes, they're here for the coaches in the program, but let's be honest, like the reason a lot of these guys are wherever they are is because of the money, right? I mean,
Well,
that's a big
yeah,
factor. It's
In
not the
some
only
form or
factor.
fashion, yes.
It's not the
yeah.
only factor, but it's a factor for sure. And you could
Well,
probably make an argument. Maybe there's players we've gotten in the door that we wouldn't have gotten pre NIL. Maybe we
Also
don't know.
here's another point to ponder over the whole thing with recruiting. And I'm going to tell you, Coach Wardle has, we got 3 games left, 3 biggest games of the season. We've played all 3 of these teams already. All 3 of these teams we played have beat us by double digits, handily. And what's very tough, 2 of the 3 games are going to be here at home. And we got one of these teams, we're going to play at their place. They beat us by 15 here, and they have handled teams that we have snuck by on the lower level in the valley. UIC the other night, 38, almost 40 points against Evansville. We didn't beat them by nowhere near that.
No, but I'll say this, like, after what we've seen over the course of the season, who Bradley's beaten, who Bradley's lost to or struggled against, like, I don't think the opponent matters all that much.
It doesn't seem to.
It really just depends on which version of Bradley shows up, period. And that's why I think we all still have that hope even after nights like Wednesday, where it's like, this team can beat anybody,
Yes.
and so it gives us that hope for Arch Madness, but there's that doubt, can they do it 3 times in a row in 3 days? Like,
That's the
that's the
hard
biggest
part.
question.
Yes.
Yeah,
I keep thinking
we
about.
can.
Go ahead, Rick.
Well, the 3 games, in 3 days. We've already done that this year. We've played 3 games in 3 days.
In November,
Did we
Doesn't matter
win
what
all of
time of
them?
year it is. 2 of the 3. 2 of the
but
3.
that's not gonna be good enough. I
Right.
mean,
Well, no. I mean, once we get to the, down St. Louis, I mean, every game's a one and done, if you're not on top of your game. But positioning's everything too. I mean, right now, you
I
know, we are looking at possibly moving from the top 5 spot all the way to a Thursday spot.
anything's possible at
And
this
it
point.
could be just lose 2 of these 3.
And
Yeah,
that's
anything's possible. And I'm hoping that that doesn't happen, but, I've got to be realistic, and, you know, how I've seen this team come out
Well,
and
and
play against the better teams, it makes it hard to be very optimistic.
the
what do you
range of
got, Matt?
outcomes is too wide, where they can beat anybody and lose to like literally anybody. And that's a maddening place to be as a fan, because you can't get comfortable either way. It's like they look like shit, and then the next game they go out and they beat Belmont, and you're like, wait, what? And then you're like, all right. And I mean, they get a tough win on the road, but 0 for 15. And you're like, I can't really feel all that confident. I want to, right? I mean, even Brad, I'm trying to manifest. I'm texting you like maybe they're catching fire at the right time, and then they don't. And the stakes are high. It's why when I made the thumbnail, I mean, I jokingly made Montana the guy lifting up the literal Bradley emblem because it's like that's what it's going to take. Like somebody on this team is going to have to actually do that, and it can't be it can't be Bully, right? It has to be other people on this. Somebody's got to step up, and you wonder, can they do it 3 times in a row? Because we haven't seen it, and it's so hard to have the confidence in that. But I think the hope, which is sometimes dangerous, is what we all have to keep because they can do it. They just haven't yet.
Absolutely. And but the thing it's like, going back to like what my dad said about like the trepidation and the anxiety about trying to win just 3 games over the next 2 weeks. And it's like, okay, if we're nervous about being able to win 3 games in 2 weeks, we're talking about like really when it comes down to it, it's going to be hopefully 3 games in 3 days. I mean, we're going to be riding that game by game, moment by moment. I mean, there's no like I've never felt so like hopeful and lacking confidence all at once. Like it's a weird emotion, a
Maybe that's what they
combination of
need, though.
emotion.
Maybe the time between games allows them to think too much, and the back to back to back nature is what will actually, you know what I mean? Like, is what will actually get them to do it. Is maybe that's what it takes.
And maybe so. So like, all right, we gotta move on here. And I'm glad that Joey commented because listen, like we're moving on here. It's War on 74 week. The Redbirds are coming to Peoria on Saturday night, 7 o'clock Carver Arena. And the X Factor, Joey Muting, is in Peoria right now. Okay. So I mean, things are probably popping off in Peoria. I say that Joey's probably like hunkered down in a hotel room, ready to like have a nice quiet night. But in my mind, Joey's going running wild on Farmington Road, ready to get crazy. But and I hope I see you tomorrow, Joey, at the game. By the way, stop by, say hi. But really looking forward to this game. I think obviously we don't know if Chase Walker is going to play or not play. That's going to be a big factor because he completely wrecked Meta the first go around, and we'll see if he does play. If Meta's up to the task. If he doesn't play, and somehow we can't find a way to win this game, then that's going to be a problem as well. But didn't they just beat Murray without Walker? Yeah, yeah, right.
Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was Murray. And they beat him handily. See, that's of the 3 teams, Murray's the one team I believe we can and should win. I think we should win tomorrow, but we got to come to play. It's UIC that I don't know. I'm hoping we can go 3-0 to finish this thing.
The embarrassing way that they lost to ISU
solidify the
earlier
first
has
spot.
got to fucking motivate them. Like you cannot lose
yeah.
after looking the way that they did the first time.
Well, we're probably going to have a bigger crowd than what they had when they were down there because the Civic Center's just about could be considered a sellout.
Perfect segue to this comment that I didn't find a good place for, but being number 1 in attendance in the Valley, they say the Arc is where Valley teams go to die, but fans seem to go to Carver at a much larger clip.
yeah, and that's a great point by Aaron about Belmont is, they're the class of the league right now, and they don't show up. And the thing is, Belmont's not like it's a program that's new to basketball success. They're a pretty consistent mid-major contender over the last 20 plus years. I mean, I remember back in the day as a kid, it's like that's one of those weird like March Cinderella names you'd always hear, as like the Belmonts of the world. And so, um, yeah, and I guess there's a lot to go up against in a city like Nashville, I suppose. As OG's already mentioned, there's not a hell of a whole lot going on in Peoria to compete with Bradley basketball. And I just think it's Bradley basketball.
Killers.
Bradley basketball is so ingrained in the DNA of Peoria, and I think that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no major pro team in Peoria. Yes, I understand the Chiefs are technically a professional, Class A baseball franchise, and the Rivermen play some semblance of professional hockey. But Bradley it's the biggest show in town, and people have been doing it for a long time. Yep, Central Illinois tradition, absolutely.
Yep.
Saucy Wasp, love that.
Hey, real quick, we should have probably done this at the
Let's
beginning.
do it now.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
we talk about tradition. We should probably,
Yes,
bow our heads and such for Coach Stoll and his family.
good point.
I was
May he
wondering where
rest
you
in
were going
peace.
with that, and
He was
then landed the
he
plane.
was he was the coach when that got me turned on to Bradley basketball back in the 70s,
Yeah, and
76, 77.
for me, the coach when I became a fan was Coach Mo, Jim Molinari, and, but grew up listening to Coach Stoll on the radio with Dave Snell, which is like it's just like that his voice, that voice is just like burnt into my brain, that, "Oh, Dave," and blah, blah. I mean, just like I could just hear it over and over again.
If there's I would like to bug Dave Snell's ear because he's heard them all, and I know, yeah, he still should probably remember a good part of them. He should write a book or do one of the things he used to do, like, Tale of Seven Senior, stuff like that. Put up a little video clip of Coach Stowe and talk about some of the stories that Coach Stowe had of, you know, playing basketball over in the Middle East, coaching basketball teams and taking them from city to city over there. There was some awesome stories that Coach Stowe had and such. It was a lot of memories. I sure couldn't remember them all, but I know they were all good and good listens when you hear them narrated by Coach Stowe himself. So, but
One
that's something
element
I'd like.
of the nationalization of collegiate sports, I think that we're seeing is we kind of lose touch with the regional aspects of college sports that make it so great. I mean, part of why fans are fans, lifelong fans of universities they never went to is because of exactly what you're talking about, Rick. People, voices, faces who have been associated with that program, that brand for so long, they are a through line in what sort of sews people together in this fandom. It doesn't matter where you came in or where you exited on the off ramp. You have this shared history that you can pull from because of the voices and the faces. And so when you lose one of those, it kind of shakes you a little bit because we have so few of those now because everything is national, everything's huge, and sports betting has made everybody just care about it in a way that is so different than the small traditions that happen in these small towns and small cities. And I love hearing your stories, Rick, because we make fun of you sometimes, we give you some shit, but it's people like you who have lived the fan life and have the stories who share that through line that kind of keep the passion going for the Brads and the Carvers and all of the children of the people that are in this stream every so often. I think that's a cool thing. So I'm glad you shouted that out because I think it's extremely important to why we even do this in the first place, that through line.
Man, and the thing is like those things are fading,
They
right?
are.
The
Traditions,
uh,
yes.
yeah, the Joe Stolls of the world who played at Bradley, coached at Bradley, was a broadcaster at Bradley, and lived out the rest of his life and here in Peoria. Um, you know, you don't hear things like that. The Dave Snells of the world, these radio broadcasters that have been doing it for 30, 40 years, like it's gonna become a thing of the past, unfortunately, at some point in time.
Yes.
Those voices,
Hmm.
and like you think of some of them, like I mean, and honestly, like the Vince Scullys of the world, and those people like
Bob
these,
Uecker is a
yes,
perfect example of that for like a Midwest team. Like, yes, everybody knew who he was because of Major League, but he was the voice of the Brewers forever, ever, and that he was good calling local games on AM radio.
yeah,
You
and
don't
as
see that
as much
anymore.
as Dave Snell isn't what he once was, there's still something for me. Like I love when I get to catch a little bit of a game in the truck on the ride home or whatever because there's some comfort in that voice, I mean, and hearing that for even just a few minutes, and yeah, there's some frustration that comes along with it at times, but like you know what, he's earned the right to do this and to do it as long as he wants and to go out however he wants. And I'm thankful he's still doing it just for the fact that like it's that connection to my childhood, that
Yes.
connection to when I fell in love with basketball, and I just can't imagine turning on the radio and hearing anyone else, call a game, and like it'll happen someday, I'm sure. But not to like get bogged down in this because I think it's time to move on. One thing Joe Stoll would love more than anything is kicking the shit out of Illinois State on Saturday night. And and I hope that Bradley's able to do that for him and we're able to honor his memory and get a big win over the Redbirds.
Coach Stowe would like us to
What we
win
got
out
there?
and go to the big dance. Let's just do it. Win the last three. Find a way, and then go to the tournament and take names. Move on.
Agreed. And that is a perfect segue to what everybody is here for, which Rick announced in our chat group earlier. There was a lot of back and forth about all of the picks that are happening for Arch Madness. And Rick, you decidedly in the chat with confidence, with bravado, said you are going to give your Arch Madness pick. And I said it'd be the only segment. And by the time we get here, it is the only segment that matters. So, buddy, the floor, the spotlight, everything is yours.
First of all, I always tell people, listen to your heart. My heart's with Bradley.
And it's calling
A
for
lot of people,
you.
go to, well, they listen to your head. It's logical, but the brain and the heart's two different things. The brain can be corrupted, as what I'm going to bring to you right now. Because I want Bradley to go down. I want him to win this thing because I'm a Bradley fan. But
Can I guess?
from the logical side of me, yeah.
Can I guess what you're going to say? Okay. All right. Hey, take your headphones off. No, that's not going to work. No, never. I want to like tell everyone else, but not you. But I don't think there's a way.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
I'll just say no. I think he's going to say URC.
That's what I think too.
UIC is going to go down there because of the way they've been playing. They're going to go down there and they're going to win the tournament.
I just can't like. I could like,
as much as I hate to say that, and it hurts to say that because I want Bradley to.
I could stomach.
But I feel UIC is playing the best basketball right now, and they're going to do it.
I could stomach, and Aaron, yes, we need to get to it, especially after the rants earlier. But I want to
point.
I could like stomach like Belmont. I could stomach Belmont or Murray.
I love the bench.
Belmont or Murray winning Arch Madness. But like, there's something about UIC winning Arch Madness that like, it just like, it seems like.
When we started this, they were bottom feeders. That's why it's hard.
It's almost like, I mean,
they started the year not really good, but they have gotten it together, and there's some ball players on that team.
Dare I say it's reminiscent of Loyola a little bit, like their entrance to the league.
I don't think they're that good.
No, but I'm not saying like, but I mean like their entrance to the league, they were kind of, bottom of the league initially, worked their way up, became contenders, and became the
when
top
they brought
dog.
How you pronounce his name, Mason or whatever, the coach. Because is this his second or his third year?
Who? The coach there now?
Yeah,
never heard of him.
It's like at least his second year.
I feel like they fired their coach after our first year doing this, and then they brought in. He
had brought in some really good players, and it's taken them a while to get playing together. But them guys are playing good basketball, and you got to play some defense on them to slow them down. So
it's usually a good strategy.
Yeah, as long as they get more points at the end of the game, I think that's the top strategy that they could possibly have in any game. You know what I mean?
All right.
Yep.
At a stat line.
Yes.
Oh, geez. Well, he's averaging 7.5 points a game.
I do like 7 on the bench by the 17-minute mark.
I'll go with 7. He's averaging 5 boards. The way he's been hitting the boards lately, I'll go with 3. No blocks, and
no blocks, huh?
No, 4 turnovers.
Wow.
Will he have?
I can't believe they only give listed him for 2. I swear, you'd almost swear he had more, but a lot of them were.
Do not make Rick the scorer at Carver.
Tipping them and losing them.
Will he have more fouls or rebounds?
Ooh.
He's not much of a fouler.
He's been fouling the shit out of people recently.
Well, but he's the Valparaiso
typically
game.
No. Like,
Valparaiso, yeah, he had quite a few. Who did we play before that?
Could you imagine if like
Salukis.
basketball was in such a way where if you were just
Yeah, he
like
only had
if someone
2
just
during
played
Southern.
poorly, you could just call a foul on them,
Yeah.
like just like improficiency on you, like
But
foul.
Foul of digressing.
Digressing.
All right, so we got the
anyway.
Metastat line, we got the Arch Madness prediction, and this has been 50 minutes of just pure nonsense. But honestly, fellas, I think it was needed. We did try to get this done last week. Unfortunately, and I know Rick doesn't want to hear this, Brad and I have a few things going on at certain times. So we do make an earnest effort to get it done, and sometimes it just doesn't happen. So it is what it is. But fellas, I've had a good time, and I should say that this is a great time for me because I recently just completed my 43rd trip around the sun. So what a birthday present, a
Yes.
late birthday present for me to get to see the shining faces of the pals, because it's been a couple of
Absolutely.
weeks.
And you know what? Forgive me for not.
Oh, no. I'm self-promoting like a son of a bitch right now, and that's not even my usual style. But
Yes.
either way, it's been a lot of fun, and we had a nice chat here. I really enjoy looking and seeing the comments out there. Sometimes I know people can't show up. We are kind of late to the party sometimes, but seeing Joey, seeing Aaron, seeing our new waspy friend here, I mean, it's just lovely to see new people, new faces, new voices in the chat. Because I said this on X, I've said it at the beginning of the year, I will continue to say it. This is for the fans, by the fans, and that's why we're here. We're not here for our own self-aggrandizing, attention-seeking. It's because of fans. That's why we do this, and that's why we'll always do this. And so anytime people show up for us, we're going to continue to show up for you.
This is definitely our internet that's lagging. So if you can't hear me right now, I apologize. But I blame it on my son's Roblox addiction. I'm sure that has a lot to do with it. He's probably up there hammering away right now in Roblox, like hassling my wife for Robux as we speak. But anyways, happy birthday to Matt. Happy belated birthday at this point. Looking forward to the game tomorrow night. There's going to be a great crowd, which is like it's my favorite version of Bradley basketball is a Pat Carver arena in a rivalry game against a team down the road. Love that. Hopefully see some of you tomorrow. Typically hanging out behind section 221, 121, wherever that is. Having a cold one before the game. So swing by, say hi. The OG there signing autographs. He'll sign your meta jersey if you have one. But appreciate this. This was kind of it's a little therapeutic a little bit, I think, compared to some of the episodes. We were a little off. I think it was ultimately a good thing. It was fun. We had a good time. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And what's your parting word so we can get out of here?
Let's get a W tomorrow. And let's in words of Marcus Freeman, leave no doubt. That's Notre Dame's call for next year. Leave no doubt.
I thought that was
Last year or last fall, it's let's leave no more fourth quarter giving up garbage time touchdowns, and let's go.
all right. No garbage time touchdowns tomorrow night, everyone.
That's
No
right.
garbage time buckets for the dead birds. And
listen, all I'll say is fuck the birds, go Braves, and we'll see you next time. This is Braves Talk.